So when I bought my Jensen in the summer of 2016, the backstory that I got with it was that it was originally a Texas car and that the original owner had dismantled it in 1985 to do a respray and some interior fix. And the buyer that I got it from made a deal with him in 1995 and bought the car in pieces and loaded them in a trailer and brought them back to his pole barn here in Minnesota, where it continued to sit until I came across it in the summer of 2016. And during that time, much had been done to dismantle the car, and everything, the drivetrain was gone, the interior was mostly gone, windshield was out of it. There was lots of things that had been taken out of it. Lots of attempts had been made at some repairs. Surface rust was evident everywhere because there was a lot of bare metal where they had stripped paint, and there was a lot of Bondo and a lot of primer that had been sort of smeared haphazardly here and there. And it was really hard to tell what condition the body was in underneath all of that nonsense. So when I got it home, the first thing that I did was I cleaned it up a little bit, and then I immediately went after it and went over the whole exterior of the car, every square inch, with 3M clean and strip silicon carbide wheels, and used a number of them, and found out exactly what I had. And much to my pleasure, what I discovered was steel, and more steel, and some leading, which had been done by the factory. There was only one spot that had rust through, and that was in the corner, the bottom corner of the rear window behind on the driver's side. There was a little bit of rust through, which I put a patch in that was about the size of an egg. And other than that, the exterior of the car was in really good condition. The underneath of the car, it had been undercoated at the factory, which had worked really well, and the floors were perfect. The trunk floor was perfect. Everything was horribly ugly, but intact, and once cleaned up, the steel looked really good. Once all of the body was exposed to bare metal, I immediately sprayed the whole thing with a self-etching primer in green, which is the way that it stayed for the next couple of years while I worked on it. And when I started sorting through the bits and pieces that I had received with the car, in one box I found a Texas registration for the car from the 1980s, and I also found the license plate that was attached to the rear bumper was a Texas plate from 1982. That was what I had to start with.